All righty. Hopefully this is working.
If you're over
Oops,
50,
I
you
want
don't
that
want to
sound
use
off.
traditional makeup. As we age, our skin.
All right, let's keep that. All righty. I don't know if anybody's here, so I don't know if I could ask if anybody can hear me. So if anybody is here and they can hear me, please let me know. Let me put the sound on for 2 seconds. For 2 seconds. Just up, yep, you can. Okay, so never mind. All righty. So we missed the last Friday show, which was on supposed to be on the second Friday of each month, and this is the fourth Friday of the month. So my plan is to do it at about this time because this time works for me. I know it might not be the best time for others, but it's a good time for me. And I figure so many people watch this via video anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it um, at 3 to 5 on um, Pacific Coast time on the second and the fourth Fridays of each month, and it's just gonna. I need to turn more lights on. Sorry. Um, there we go. So anyway, so we'll be doing it on the second and the fourth um, Fridays of each month, and I don't always know what we're going to be working on. We're going to be continuing today to work on the book that I started on January 1st, and I can't believe it's already the 26th. It's been crazy so far this month. I hope this just means I'm getting all of the crazy out before the rest of the year. I hope it's not a harbinger of what is going to be like all of 2024. Won't survive it. So yeah, I got sick like 2 days after I did the live stream on January 1st. And excuse me, my next uh and then after that we had, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read things and and talk and do all this. And I'm not as good at it as I used to be. So we also then had a below freezing stretch here in Seattle, and we had a pipe burst. Um, and we got our garage all wet. Unfortunately, it was to the hose bib outside. So we were able to turn the water off for it without having to turn the water off for the entire house. We had a neighbor who had their shower freeze. I took a shower that morning and it took forever for the cold to come through. So I have a strong feeling that taking that shower prevented us from having a frozen pipe in our shower. So, so anyway, it's a little bit crazy. And I still sounded like a frog on the second Friday. So that's why I ended up not doing the show. So anyway, crazy times. But I swear if it's going to happen, it'll happen to me. And it's just the reality. And those of you who've been watching my show since the very get go or anywhere in between know that these kinds of things just seem to happen. So I've spent the last 2 hours trying to get a different camera type system working so I could switch cameras again. And I couldn't quite get it working. I kind of ran out of time. I think I will. So I will continue to work on that. And hopefully by the next class, which is the second Friday in February, I will have that all figured out. So a couple other things that are coming up is this is our fifth, sixth, seventh session of Seek, Gather, Create, which is a challenge over on it's a mixed media challenge over on Instagram that I am doing with three of my Instagram friends, Tina, Mel, and Lisa. Lisa's in England, and Tina and Mel are both I think they're in the Toronto area in Canada, and myself. We have prizes, we have sponsors and prizers like Stencil Girl, Art Stacks. Seth Apter did it last time. I haven't quite got a confirmation, but he's swamped right now. Paper Artsy. So we'll be giving prizes away each week on the Sundays. Of each Sunday in February, we release the prompts for that week, and you use those prompts to create anything you want, whether it's a page in an art journal, it's a book. I've done last time I always do a page for my art journal, but then I also do other media to kind of show you can do things like the first year I did book covers and using these prompts. I did dolls, and I'm going to do dolls again, I think, this time. I did jewelry last time. I made vessels and such one time. Let's see, what are some of the other things I've done? I made 3D things. I've done reverse canvases. I've done assemblages. Sorry if I wasn't facing, I was looking at around at the other things. So you can use whatever kind of media you want to do. You can make it as fast and simple or complicated as you want, but it's each week there are different prompts. So they come out on Sunday. You have, if you want to be in for a prize drawing, make sure you post it by Saturday so that we can gather all the people who are participating. You can get more information this coming Sunday on my Instagram, and my Instagram is at Laura D. Denison, and Denison is with one N. So at Laura D. Denison. In order to get the prizes, you have to follow each of the 4 hosts, as well as all of the prize sponsors. So it's actually quite fun using these prompts, and there's nothing like each week, one of them's a color. We each submit a prompt for that week. And so I already know what they all are, but I'm not going to tell you. But they're not super complicated or difficult unless you want them to be, if that makes any sense. So you can just take the prompts and create pretty much anything you want. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope some of you are able to join us. And that's that's over on Instagram. So head over to Instagram and you can follow me there and get all the information this coming Sunday. And then the following Sunday, we'll release the first set of prompts. And each of the 4 of us then post what we're doing in those prompts. Like I said, I'm the classic overachiever type, and so each week I not only do my art journal page, I do at least 1 to 2 other kinds of media, but it's only for a month and it really pushes me, um, especially when I'm really kind of struggling, which I hate to say, since the first I've really struggled to kind of I was on such a good momentum and just really churning and getting sick. And it wasn't COVID. It was some virus that's going around that just flattened me for close to a week. And then it's just trying to get back in the swing of things. And I just, ever since I've had this crash, getting back into the swing is a lot more challenging. I mean, it's a process. So creative burnout I personally feel is a form of depression, and it just makes it challenging. I hate that I have to talk with my hands for you. I'm trying to get it where you can actually see me, because I know you guys haven't seen me since I've switched computers, which was on like 2019 or something like that. So you haven't actually seen my face on one of these live things. And that's what I'm trying to get this other setup using you can use your phone as a webcam and stuff, and it works really good on my computer, and I get it all hooked together, but I can't stream from my computer because I have a Mac unless I do it on Chrome. Well, and then the phone thing as a camera didn't work on Chrome, or at least I couldn't figure out how to make it work on Chrome. So it was like I thought it was I was all excited. I thought it was going to work, but we're figuring it out. I'm also working on some stuff for my website, and trying to get a teaching platform set up, like Teachable or something. I was on Teachable. They totally screwed me over. So then I was on Podia, and then I decided, well, this is crazy. Why am I spending $400 a year to use these websites? And to use it the way I needed it to be, it needed to be like $900 a year. And I don't have an extra $900 a year floating around. So I pay already for my website, why not set that up on my website? So we're working on that. We had a little bit of a snafu about a week and a half ago, trying to make sure that the videos were working. It just gets complicated. All you guys have no idea all the stuff that goes on back behind the scenes, other than what Pam knows, because Pam is the one I went to. So so anyway, I'm working on that, and hopefully by the next live on the second week in February, let's see what that will be is, I'm looking at a calendar right now. It will be on the 9th, February 9th, and the 23rd in February is the plan. And again, I know I'm bouncing around, but those of you who have been to my lives before know I do that. I plan to be still continuing to work on the stack roll. What am I calling this thing? This one, the stack tuck and roll book. I mean, I've gone through some of my old videos, and it's like, I don't even remember that book. I don't remember that book. There's too many of them. But we're going to continue to work on this one for the 2 sessions in February. But then what I'm planning to do is each month I'm going to have, whether it's a reimagined older book or a brand new book, but each month at the end of the month, so by next, Wednesday is the end of the month, I will have a new book up. And so the book that I put up at the end of January is the one we'll work on in March. The book I put up at the end of February is the book that we'll work on in April. So there will be at least 2 classes. That's my plan at this point. I'm trying not to overschedule myself, but that's my plan. There will be at least 2 classes where we work on a specific book. I'm also giving that month. So if the one I'm going to release here at the end of January, we'll start working on in March. That will give you, if you're deciding that you want to work on that book, that gives you a full month to get the base book set together. And it also gives me that little extra bit of time in order to get a full sample, much like this one is, because this is a fully completed sample, which those of you who've been around for a while is not something that has been the norm for me. So, but I want to do that because I know a lot of people really like to see a sample completed. So I'll have a sample completed, whether it's the traditional like this one is, or it's the artsy one like we're working on. Sometimes the sample may be the more artsy journaly type of book, and sometimes the one we'll work on is a more traditional book. I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna alternate. I'm trying not to schedule myself. The fact that I'm setting this up that each month has got me hyperventilating a little bit. But I'm gonna make an attempt at it. No guarantees. I also don't guarantee exactly what we'll work on each of the Friday classes, because it may be sometimes that there's something that I want to show you, or I don't really want to work on that project. And I'm learning quickly, I can't keep pushing myself the way I used to always do. And that's when I run into problems. So I'm trying not to do that. So anyway, messy palette, you've only seen my hands. Yeah, well, it's been a while. I used to have a Windows-based laptop, and I was using some of my son's gaming software so that I could switch cameras and stuff. Well, then that laptop died, and I would have had to have bought like a $2,000 laptop in order to stream, and the only time I would use it was during streaming, and I was really winding down on my streaming, and I couldn't justify it. So I got a Chromebook. Well, the Chromebook wouldn't let me use that software, and so that's why we've been just on Talk to My Hands, which I hate. I want to, I want you guys to see my face. I want you to see how great my hair has gotten. I can't see you, but I wish, So anyway, I'm working on it, and there's some new stuff that's available, new technology that's available. I'm just, old lady trying to figure out new stuff. So anyway, hopefully by the next class on the 9th of February, I'll have that all figured out. So anyway, can't even edit after 4 years of YouTube tutorials. Oh, I got you beat, Messy Palette, by a long, long, long shot. I started doing YouTubes in 2009, and I just learned how to edit a year and a half ago. So, yeah, I am the queen of the one-shot wonders. All of those YouTube videos that you see that I have on, because none of them are edited. The only editing I've done is for stuff that has been on my teaching platform stuff. So other than putting a header on the videos, none of those are edited. Those are all one-shot wonders, every single one of them. Now, that doesn't mean they haven't been shot multiple times, but yep, no, none of those things are edited, which is especially in the very beginning when YouTube videos could be 10 minutes, or as I rapidly figured out, you could push it to 10 minutes and about 57 seconds. 51 seconds was probably more likely. But that's why I would talk fast. Of course, I would then get people commenting constantly, you talk too fast, etc. Well, 10 minutes, let me tell you, was short. My very, 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 very first video, the first time I'd run through I did, it was 26 minutes long. And I go, oh, I'm in trouble. But I finally got it down to 10 minutes. Yeah, so those are all one-shot wonders. If there's a goof in there, the goof either stayed or I just redid it. So yeah, what you see is what you got. So and the early ones show Laura with her curls. Then I learned, well, not really curls, Pam. That was more frizz. And then I got a straightener. Yeah, life, my kids were, when I started, my kids were 11 and 9, and now they're 23 and 25. They'll be 26 and 24 this year. So you guys who've been around, you've seen the Parade of Pets, which the vast majority of them no longer are around with us. You've seen the Parade of Pets. You see my kids interrupt. It's not, I mean, even most recently, because both kids still live at home while they're going to school. 9 times out of 10, at least Trevor will text during one of the lives. I think the show I did on the first, he didn't text me or anything. And it was like, that was a rare occasion. They used to interrupt, and because mom's in here talking to herself. They didn't know any different. They didn't realize that at times there was 1,000, 1,500 people watching, because there were during some of those New Year's things. But it's great. And then I get off on these tangents and stuff. So I'm trying to just keep these live streams rather than being part of a class. They're really just me working on something. And then, especially as I'm finishing, the book that we're working on today, I will put those stuff on YouTube. And if there's something I really want to show you in the process, I'm trying to get this all set up so I can do more YouTube videos and stuff. And I will do that. I'll just do the walkthrough of the final and all that kind of thing, or I'm just going to be trying to do more YouTube videos. The beauty of YouTube videos versus the live streams is you don't have the me going off on tangents and, the chitter chatter. Whereas, on the lives, that's just the reality. So, which is why I have never charged for my live streams for you guys to view them. They're still available. They're either available here on YouTube or they're available over on my website. So those of you who are relatively new, go to my website. Under the archives tab, there is a terabyte worth of videos from past classes. And in fact, I posted this and it really shocked the heck out of me when we were trying to figure out something to do with the videos and why they weren't working. I'm trying to find my notes on how many. It was insane, the number of videos. I think it was like total videos is close to 2,400 videos since 2009. I know that's like, how many of them are here on YouTube? YouTube has, I didn't break it down. I don't remember exactly how many are on YouTube, but there's a lot on YouTube, but the vast majority of my videos are over on my website, and they're video stuff done from like live streams. So there's a chatter in there. There's I probably would be horrified if I personally went back and watched some of those. But in those, you can see the parade of pets and the kids and interrupting and all that kind of stuff. It was just life as it happened in the moment. So, I mean, it's like a video diary. There are times where it's probably embarrassing, but so anyway, yeah, it's warts and all. Exactly. So, um, but yeah, that's what these are about. I love just getting to see everybody and get to chat with people who have been around for a long time. So I enjoy doing that. So that's why I decided, I'm really going to make it a goal in 2024 to do more live streams. In 2023, I did New Year's Day, and that was it. I didn't do any other live streams the entire year, but it was a rough year. I had a lot go on, losing my mom, and we lost a cat, and just, it was the first year my husband was retired. The kids were doing online school, and it was, and my mental health was not in a great place, as you can, ask Pam. Last year was a year. So I'm just doing this because this is what I want to do, not because I feel I have to do it, but this is what I want to do. So twice a month, I'm committing to. Sometimes, like 2 weeks ago, doesn't work out. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm not going to go, oh, I need to reschedule that. And that's something Pam and I talked about. And I said, I'm not going to just, oh my God, I have to reschedule. So I've just decided not to. And I'm just going to, it's going to have to come as it comes. And while I will try to keep a consistent schedule, I can't guarantee that. And that's the best I can do. So anyway, where are we at now? Okay, see, because I get talking. It's 20 minutes in, and I'm you're still, all you're seeing is my hands flopping around. So I want to go ahead and get started. As we talked about during that first class with this, there's two kind of journalish type sections, or two stack sections is what I called it on the tutorial. There's the two stack sections, and then there's the sections that are actually on the cover, and there's one more here. So what I started on was actually the second stack section, which I think I'm going to stick with. Though, like I said, I did a tiny bit. I think I got about 20 minutes in one day, and that's all I've done on this since. What am I doing here? Let's see. How does this go? There, it goes like that. No, that's not it. Oh, just, sometimes. There we go. That one goes there. This one goes there. That goes there. That goes there. I was trying to read and roll it up at the same time, and that was not smart. Yeah. Thank you, Christine. If you like and subscribe to my channel, then you will get alert when I go live. So and like I said, I think this 3 to 5 Pacific time on Fridays is a time that's going to work for me. I thought about 4 to 6, but then it really pushes it in terms of having to get dinner for everybody ready, or at least for Trevor, Rich, and I. Sarah's working and stuff, so she's not home often on Fridays. But yeah, if you subscribe, like and subscribe, then you will get alerts. So anyway, I'm just trying to read a little bit. So what we worked on the first go round. Yeah, see, this is what I got done. I watercolored this little flap that we're going to attach this guy onto. In class, on the first, I did this stitching that just looks kind of like, okay. It's just random little stitching because this envelope had been, when I, echo dyed it, it had torn and stuff. So I put a little bit of fabric back behind there, just did some like random stitching, a little bit of random color. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. And then I put this little guy I don't remember if I did this part on class or in class or not, because there was this little chunk out. I had it originally this way, but now I've decided, because when I'm going to attach this on, and I'm going to, rather than attaching it and being a pocket on this side, what I'm doing is I'm going to hinge this on, excuse me, so that this becomes a pocket, and then this guy attaches on this side, whether I do it this way or the other way. And so that becomes a pocket. So then I get some extra pockets, and I can actually make this kind of. So I had gotten some new watercolors, and I was just playing with them. They were cool ones that separate and deals with the zoomy stuff. So I was playing with those, and trying to keep it in that same color range. I'm gonna grab some. No, don't throw that. I'm just going to grab some of this is some of the Tim Holtz canvas tape, but you could use any kind of fabric tape, or you could even just use tape and washi tape. I would make sure it had a layer or two on there. But that's what I'm going to use to attach this onto this to hinge it on. And I'm not going to do it the whole strip. I'm going to do some little, like 3 little sections of it so that I can get around to my little doodads on here. So I'm going to put these all to be about the same length. So that's like what, that's the other thing I'm much less anal about measuring everything right now and cutting it and all that kind of stuff. If you need to measure it all, be my guest. But I'm getting a little looser about all of that kind of stuff. So I need a total of 6 little pieces of this. Especially when I'm working on the loosey-goosey version versus the traditional version. Because I'm trying to do a bit of a mixture with all of these things, showing that you can take all these tutorials that you may have, whether it's mine or other people's, for making mini albums, and you're like, oh, I'm just really kind of over the whole mini album thing, but I'm also not really heavy duty into the journal thing and making books that are tied to where, I'm stitching the books together, and then they got 5 million pages, which is my issue with them, is they've got, in my mind, there's way too many pages in them. And so I have a hard enough time just getting done, 5 or 6 pages, much less, as I talked about in the last class, 40. So doing this kind of thing is sufficient to me and makes it more likely that I will get the book completed. Because, here it's been close to a month and I haven't touched this other than, 15 minutes maybe worth. So anyway, I get, wrapped up in whatever else I have going on, and I get wrapped up in doing some, technical behind the scenes stuff like with the website, or I get to where I just sit here and just scroll. I'm guilty of that. I admit it. I spend way too much time, just trying to get something to spark something somewhere, sometime. And anyway, all right. So in terms of where I want to place these in relation to this stuff. Oh, come on. The one I'm gonna have up by Wednesday. I taught it at Art and Soul retreats that happen in Portland in April, and they have this next one. What is the next one? I think it's in October. They're also doing them in Pennsylvania now. But I taught the Three Sisters book in April at that. And I've got most of the, I just have to film the videos. And I'm going to try to get those done over the weekend. So that will be the next book that I will put up. And I meant to dig out, but I got doing other things. I meant to dig out the original from those books that were way back before Stack the Deck even, because they were ring bound. One had zoo animals, one had fairies. And I can't, for the life of me, I meant to look this up too. I cannot remember. All right, so I'm setting this, I'm centering it and putting it about the fold of my envelope. It's about 1/8 of an inch in. Sticking that down. So that becomes a hinge. And then I'm going to, on this side, do the papers or the tape in the same place. So, and I'll show that one before. Somebody remind me before I end to show you that one. I showed it in the last time, but I'll show it because I hadn't determined that yet. And again, it's taking and modifying slightly one of my old things and turning it into something more journal-like or artsy-fartsy, as I like to call it. So, hi, Jamie. So, that's kind of the plan. I've kind of got the list for the first 6 months of between new stuff, and some stuff might be inspired by old books and you may not even recognize where it comes from. So, but anyway, I do. So, yeah. But there's also times when we may be doing something completely differently. Like I said, during Seek, Gather, and Create this next month, I'm going to be doing dolls again. And I'm also going to have a doll class available on my website, much like as if I were on the teaching platform still. All right, so that's attached on there. So then it hinges. So then I can use this envelope, but then I can attach the envelope. Oh, this one. I can attach this on there so that this becomes a pocket on this side. On the original, I had them both attached to that little flap. And I'm also wondering if I want to do this one. Keep it long, or if I want to cut it into 2 short ones so it's 2 little pockets. See, what do I have it in here? I need to quit tying that. So this is actually on the second one. So on this one, I have the envelope attached. So this is the envelope. This section right here is on the front. And then I cut it in half vertically. So the pocket is just short. So it's half of a, and then this stuff is all just tags. So pull those all out. So you can see here, this is attached to the flap, and I cut I cut it this way, cut it in half that way, and attached it. So it made a pocket here, and then there's a pocket between them. And then this is the envelope here, and it's a pocket as well. So that's how I did it on the original. No, that doesn't go there. No, that does go there. Yeah, that goes there. So then these guys, see, this is, oh, this is just some to define where those edges are. So then these just fit in behind there. That one goes in behind there. That one goes in there. So that's what I did on this one. So we can do whatever we want. It's your book. Do what you want. It doesn't have to be the same every single time. I have a whole envelope, so I can cut it in half if I wanted to. I can leave it whole. Or I'm also thinking if I cut it, and boom, boom. So then I have 2 of them. I could do that. Kind of like that idea. Versus the having it be a whole envelope. And then this is one big long pocket instead of two smaller pockets. And then it's a whole envelope on this side. Cut it in half or leave it whole. I'll get something to drink while you guys decide. Pam says half. Okay. Anybody, any more halves? Okay, we're cutting it in half. So this is the kind of envelope that had sticky stuff on there, but I don't trust the sticky stuff. So I gotta grab my glue. I don't have any of my stuff out because I just was trying to get this stupid camera thing to work, but it's the bane of my existence. All right, so I'll allow the sticky stuff, but I don't trust it on the long term. And it's, of course, I'm doing a live stream, so guess what that means? My glue will not work. Does it do this when I'm not live streaming? Of course not. It only does it when I'm streaming. Hi, Ava. Yeah, let's just have it blob out. I love my glue bottle. I never have to do this except on live streams. I don't understand. All right, so close that puppy up. Okay, I'm gonna be also, I'm not necessarily, halfsies is right there. I'm not even gonna do the halfsies. I'm gonna do them a little different. I'm just going to tear it. Voila! And now 2 pockets. 2 pockets. And they just got a roughety edge. I just didn't feel like getting my cutter out. I know, she's tearing. I can't leave my edges raw though. That just, it goes against my grain. Get some of this orangey stuff down here too. Well, I assume that's got that kind of blue inside stuff in it, but anyway. All right, so then these can attach here. Or do I want those framing? Yeah, I like it that way. Okay, so these are going to attach on this back side, but I don't want this super nakedy white, so let's put something on there. Let's see what we got to do on that. I've at least got my goodie tubs out with stuff. Yeah, here's a good paper. This will work. This is some old, I have no idea whose it is. It looks Prima-ish. So it's going to go in right here. And pencil. So it needs to be about that wide and about that long. And I'm going to cut this one because it's got some edges. But you notice it was not really measuring. I'm just marking how big it needs to be-ish. And my cutter needs a new blade. So that gives it a little bit of rattiness. See, it's still not perfect, which is fine. All right. Excuse me. I'd still have a little bit of cough when I talk for very long, but I always have a cough when I talk. But it's more pronounced with this virusy crap that went around. I haven't been knocked flat like that in years. So, that was one thing about the COVID era. I didn't get sick very much. We managed to survive through COVID with only my husband catching it at Christmas a couple years ago. And I guess Sarah had it, but she was asymptomatic, so I tend to not necessarily count it, which is not nice. But all right, what do I want to do on that edge? Let's take something, and I'm into my limey green right now, so I'm just gonna scribble this along the edge just to give it some of that color. And this is just the Karen dot she, whatever, those crayon thingies that I use, and they're water soluble. So then I can just take some water, kind of smush it around a little bit. I didn't remember if this one was water soluble or not. Doesn't. I thought this one was. Okay. So that was not water soluble. So let's find one that is. This is a Stabilio. This one does it. This is a Stabilio pencil. So I can get a couple of those colors in there. Try and get the water out. So that kind of smears it around a little bit. Now, if this makes you have heart palpitations because it's not done, quote unquote, perfectly, don't do it. If you like the loosey-goosey, go for it. If you don't. Don't force yourself into doing loosey-goosey stuff if that's not what you want to do. I know that's kind of the trend right now is to more of the loosey stuff, but you know what? If you don't like it, don't do it. It's so simple. That's my theory. Just because it's trendy doesn't mean you have to like it. And if you would prefer that it be all nice and perfect and pristine, leave it that way. Absolutely. It's a choice, not a requirement. Let me dry this. Tilt a bit more towards me. I also tend to get working and my brain stops thinking about, where do I need to be on my desk? And so I pulled it too far away. So I apologize on that. So I've tilted the camera. Did that help? What's the brand of the glue I use? This is the same glue that I've been using since I started. It's called Scotch Tacky Glue. It used to be Scotch Quick Dry. And I just get it. One of the big box stores has them. You can also order it online. But it's the exact same formula when it was called Quick Dry. And now it's just called Tacky Glue. Same exact stuff. So it gives me that little bright. But I want a little bit other bright on there too. That's what I like. Whoops. I'm going to knock things down. This is just a gel pen in hot pink. This one happens to be Jelly Roll Moonlight. It's a Sakura pin. It's number 10. See, it just gives that little pop of the little flash of the hot color. Do I want to put anything else on here before I glue that down? Because these guys are going to go on here. So I'm going to have that whole piece on there. Just so that it gives it a finished look around these guys. And so then those are going to be little pockets back behind here. So do I want to put something like in there? That blends in too much. I've got just a couple of these little. I'll even put it on that side so it doesn't catch. Let's do that. Excuse me. I'm just going to chop this puppy in half pretty much. So I'm going to glue this on and let it glue, and then I can work on these guys before I put those guys on. So you could also do this with score tape if you wanted to do that. I've been using, the last few years I was doing a lot of live streams and class type stuff. I was doing less score tape and more glue. Because as with anything, any kind of adhesive, whether it's tape or whatever it is, eventually it does release to some degree. And I've seen that, you know, having been doing books for 15 years now, I've seen those books. I'm paying attention to where I am on camera, so it does release. So I find that glue just tends to last a little longer. All right, so that's letting that dry for a sec. So then these guys are going to go, depending on where I decide I want to place them. I'm going to come down about 1/2 inch and up about 1/2 inch. So if I want to kind of center that on there, I'll plop those on there. And these are just some of the, I don't even know if he still has these pocket cards out. These are from 2015, so probably not, but he has other ones. These are really that old? Are you flipping kidding me? Okay. But you can use, gosh, just about anything. You know, so many of the places have, some of the, you know, they come in, like these are some old Bo Buddy ones that came in these little, these are from 2016. You know, you might have some of, you know, the old, like Prima had these little pads of these little journal thingy bobbers. You might have some old tags. You know, you can use pretty much anything, or you can just cut it out of cardstock and make it look like a tag type of thing. So, there's some. He has cards. They're just in a different format. That, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I've seen them. I have a hard time keeping up with all the stuff he has. So inkle dinkle those guys. Stuff's running all over the place. I'm into fluorescent pink and yellow green right now. So all right, dry. I can see it's still wet. Okay, so let's glue these puppers on. This glue is just not being cooperative. It says, well, you just left me sitting. I don't want to, just expect me to come on camera and perform when you just left me sitting. So I guess it's telling me. So this guy's coming up about half an inch there. So boop, pop that pupper on. And so that's covering over this top edge so your tags don't catch on the edge of this paper that I put on there. That's about where he wants to be. Because I'm going to glue these guys on in a U shape. So this just indicates where the pocket is for those little tags to go. So this guy's going to go like right about here. Over, so it's about half an inch of that sticking out. So then I can mark just a tiny little tick mark how far up the glue can go. Do I like that side? Oh, see, I kind of like this side shown since it's going to show more. So maybe yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do that. So I want this cooler looking side to be on the side where it's going to show more, whereas this side, half of it's getting covered up. So, all right. So tick mark, tick mark. Tick mark, tick mark. So then I know where to put my glue for the use so that a little tag can go in there. No, it's not being shy, Pam. It's just being difficult. It's kind of like the cats. I'll do it if I want to, not because you want me to. And then if I squeeze harder, it'll come out too fast. Guaranteed. So. Okay, so let's do the same thing over on this side. Should bust out the baby bottle tops again. That worked really well, as long as you cinched them on good. Too many people, if they plug up, they'd squeeze too hard and the whole baby bottle top would come off. So I zip tie them on. Works fine. I haven't done that in a long time. So attach that guy on. Then maybe to just give it a little bit of similarity, I'm going to use just a little bits piece of this stuff. See, it's got that hot pink on there. Whoops, where's the camera? There we go. It's got that hot pink on there. See? Doesn't have to be the same size. It's critical. It's not holding anything on. It's just there for looks. You can also make your own canvas tape. There's canvas paper that you can get at the big box stores. And then you can just print it with any kind of digital that you want onto it. Or you can paint it and then put adhesive on the back. And it becomes your own canvas tape or fabric tape. You can also just take fabric and put adhesive on the back. So, and I'm just going to stick this on the bottom. It's just there for looks. And I still don't have fingernails, so peeling this off. It's always challenging. Don't want to run it over the fold, but so then this becomes pocket. Once I get the glue there, glue down on both sides. Yeah, now it is. This didn't cooperate as much. All right, I got a glue cap in my mouth, and so that sounded kind of weird. All right, so this becomes, there's a pocket there for tags, and then there's also a pocket here. So that gives us I'm thinking I want a little something sticking up out of there. Where some tag. See, I've got my little box of tags and goodies. It's like, wow, she's like almost organized, but not quite. But all those little tag things like I'm talking about, and then I got a whole crate full of just tags. So anyway, so these are some old ones from Seven Gypsies. I miss them. I wish they were still around. So I'm thinking if I take and have one of these kind of sticking up out of there. They're not two-sided. Maybe these will be just... Okay, so those are going to go in there. And let me see. This is some old Prima 6x6 pad, but it's on one-sided too. I need a double-sided, people. Double-sided. Oh, this will work. This is, I think this is an old Prima one. I don't know. It's double-sided though. It's the right color. So I'm going to have it just sticking up out of here so that, how can I do this so that I can have it? Just trying to think of how I can do this so that, I wish I could just attach it here and here. So then it becomes a double pocket. But I get a little over exuberant with too many pockets, don't I? I like the stripey on this side. Okay, so let's do this. How wide to fit in there? Let's go right there. I haven't used a ruler yet, have I? Okay, so let's see, that's about 6 inches. So we're just gonna pop this puppy in half so I have two pieces. Oh, I have a whole box of Basic Gray myself. That Basic Gray what they're doing now, they do fabric now. They've got a whole a whole line of uses some of their old grungy solid looking ones. They have that as what if I attach there? Then that could kind of work. So I don't lose the whole width, and I don't, by gluing on both sides on one side, you lose a lot of width. But if I glue on one side on this side and one side on this side, you don't lose as much width. I also don't need to go. It can be half of this one, so. That way it's not a perfect cut either. So let's just do that. Okay, so that's going to go in that one. And this is going to go in this one. Flip it over so then they're poking too pointy for me right there on both those. So just whack it off a little bit. So that's going to go. That'll work. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'll show you here in just 2 seconds. All right, so what I'm going to do is, okay, so this is going to stick out. On the top side, I'm going to mark on this side, and the bottom side, I'm going to mark on this side. So on this side, this is on the quote-unquote front. I'm going to glue just over on this edge. See, if I glued it on the same thing, I lose 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch. So I lose 1/2 inch on one side. Whereas if I glue on one side and then I flip it over and glue on this side, each side only loses 1/4 inch. So that way I don't lose a ton of the width. So that goes to there, and that goes down to there. So when I put in, see, this can go up to there, but it goes all the way to the edge on this end, and I lose 1/4 at that end. If I do it on this side, it goes all the way to the edge, at the top, and I lose 1/4 at the bottom. So instead of one side being 1/2 inch wider than the other side, that just lets me do that. Brilliant, if I may say so myself. Okay, so on top, it's on up there. Top, front, bottom, back, bottom. Top, front, back, bottom. Does that make sense? Tuck in there. There you go. There we go. So that gives us a pocket, and another pocket, and then I can do whatever I want to on the back side of there. So I think those will probably go in there. We'll see. I'll put them in there just now for a placeholder and then decide what I want to do differently. And then I can do something on the front of here, which I probably will. And I'm also thinking I want to divide this pocket to where I have a pocket kind of here behind all this guga. And then I have a pocket down here. Or I don't have to use that as a pocket, but my pocket can stop right there. So that, I could stitch it. Because remember rightly, we put all this stuff on the inside so that the edges didn't catch and everything. But I don't know that I necessarily want an entire huge, long pocket inside of there. I could actually trim that too. That would look goofy. But I really do like the idea of dividing this. You could do a slit there so that you could pocket up on that side. I could just glue it on the inside, or I can do something else. I could stitch it, or I can do it from all the way up there. Do I want to do it? No, it's a little too high. I like this little mark right there. So that's about right there. So then that gives us a place for that right there. And so this could be a little pocket where a little tag can go in there. So you can have a little taggy tag goes in here. But then I want to cover that up. That's what I was thinking. If I do that and I have just a little slit thing right there. So this can go in from this side and then this one's from this side. Oh, I kind of like that. Well, how far do I have to go down? So if I do a slit right about there, it's just above this stitching. Well, it doesn't impact this stitching. Let's do that. How wide is something like this? So if I do whatever, I divide it down here at that fold line. I could do my traditional little Z thingy. That's what I can do. Let's do that. Let's do my little Z-bob thing. Okay, so this is 1.5 inches wide. And I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch intervals. So I've always divided pockets. So I'm going to fold it like it's a Z. So then when it attaches in here, one side attaches to this front, one side attaches to the back. So if I want it to be to about there. Okay, so I can slip this in. And this is where I'm going to get some score tape out just because that way I can maneuver. I have been learning the joys and pitfalls of long-haired cats who like to hang out on my desk. I'm finding I have little fluffy long hairs in things. So is that about where it will? Okay, so I'm going to slip this puppy in there. And so this side's going to attach to this front. This back side will attach to the other side. So it'll divide my pocket. Up to there, and I'm just going to slide it all the way down to the end. Stick it. If it's not straight, world won't end. It's not really straight. It's sort of straight. Let me see if I can straighten it a little bit there. See how it's hooked down inside of there on camera? See, it's hooked. Now we'll peel off the paper on this side. Stick that puppy down. So now I have it's divided so that this guy can slip in there. And there's room for it. But again, I don't want to cover up this stuff. So I'm going to make a little slit over on this side. So that's the lowest point. So if I'm just above, I can do it at a little bit of an angle. That way I can mark down, can I go? Yeah, that works. So I'll stop it right about there. So I'm going to get it started. And it'll be easier from here on out. So I've cut the little slit thing. And what I'm going to do now is on this back side, this little section, I'm going to glue it down. so that it doesn't get all. So it doesn't do that little poof and floof and stuff like it's been doing. Because this envelope has gone through an echo dye bath, it kind of just doesn't want to stay like nice and tight and closed. It's kind of got some floofiness to it. So see, it still looks like an envelope on this side, and it's still got a significantly large enough, goes down to all the way down to there. So there's still a large pocket. And then on this side, this guy can slip in. And it's kind of cute in that through that little pail. See if I can wiggle. See, you can see it in there on the stripes through that fabric I put in there. So it becomes kind of like a window, which is kind of what I was hoping it would do. I like it. That makes me happy. So then I can do something along that edge, especially to give it some reinforcement. So if I put some of this on there, that would do it. Tear that. Give it a fold. Across the top. Clean this back edge off. Fuzzies off there. And then I'm just gonna attach that on there. Kind of gives an indication that there's something there. And this just gives some reinforcement to this slit that I cut. Now we'll glue this down. See, I get lost in these little foofy details. It takes me forever to do a page because I just get all into the details. So that guy can slip in there. Decide on a different one. Oh, I kind of like, ooh, I like the rose. I don't know whose these are. I've had these for ever. And I don't really know if I don't know if these are Tim's or not. So anyway, doesn't really matter. We're using stash. You could also cut these out of cardstock or other paper. You could draw on them, make them have a little extra doodah on them. Oh, I've got kitties trying to come in. That's charcoal. China marker. Just to give it some scribbly stuff on there. Maybe you can see what else we got. Brush that I can get all Mickey Bobby gluey. This one's been glued on before. I'm not nice to my brushes. Can you tell this guy's been left in the water so many times? I'm not a nice person to my brushes. Now, my watercolor brushes that I've paid more money for, I tend to be a little bit more careful with them. But my glue brushes, not so much. And this is just matte medium. Put it in the water. Try to remember to take it out of the water sometime. This is some of Tim Holt's tissue stuff. It's got little color poopy doodles on it. And I kind of like it. So. Oh, I guess I didn't need to throw that in the water yet. And just gives it a little bit more doodah. This is just some kind of, it's some netting kind of lacy type floofy stuff. So just staple that on. One more this way. And then I like to take something metals, flatten those down a little bit so they're not quite so sharpy. And then fits down in there like so. And see, and then that little floofy stuff shows also on this side behind this little guy. And then I've got room here for something much larger. Like, I mean, I just take something like packaging. See, you can now see. Where's the edge of that? Oh, don't get stuck in there. Yeah, see the edge of the pocket's way up here. So I can do something, you know, that large. Yeah, see, it can be something as wide as this. Probably do a little bit narrower than that, but it can be something pretty wide. This is back from Melissa Francis a million years ago with these little adopted ancestors. What else can we put on the outside? 7 Gypsies, another little frame. That little girl. I'm just grabbing stuff out. There's no thoughts behind it or any of that kind of thing. I'm just kind of pulling old stash stuff out. Nothing, whatever just is catching my eye while I'm looking. Where's that paper pad I had a minute ago? This kind of really goes with so that she can kind of fit under there. I need something up along the top. Let's see. I just got. There you go. I was at the end at one of my favorite vintage stores. Sarah and I go out on her days off many times and hit vintage stores. And I just got this the other day. It's from I figured out what date it was from. It's a tiny little, it's started July 18th, and then I found the year, 1916. So this is a little tiny book from 1916. So having just these little things, I figure I can pull little pages out sometimes. I like this kind of spidery writing when it's done with a pen. And I used to, it'd be about give me heart failure to pull pages out or do something like that. But then I, kind of came to the thought process on all this is that these things, the fact that they have survived, 100 years is amazing because they're paper. And then you take, but you're giving them a new life, so to speak, with, adding them into my papering stuff. So I kind of feel like, it's just part of that piece of paper's journey. I mean, if it ended up in a antique store, vintage store, whoever had it to begin with, it wasn't important to them for them to have kept it. The only ones I have had a really, really hard time doing anything to are any of the stuff that were my in-laws, and I probably won't take those apart. I won't, when I'm out looking at books and stuff that I'm going to get, I don't take apart Bibles. It's just an issue, that kind of thing that I have. So if we put this little watch on there, like pulling up, having that. So we can just, and then I can get a little something doodah there. And then I keep all these little floofy pieces of paper. It's hoarding action. I get it, but okay. So how do I want to, color do I want to paint? Let's paint him something pretty. Now I can throw this in liquid water. Do I want to pull in some of the blue tone? Let's do, or do I want to go more metallic? I have some metallic watercolors. I'm going to turn it metallic looking. Let's go with this. And these are fine tech metallic watercolors that come out of all sorts of cool colors. But I'm kind of going with this kind of brassy, bronzy kind of tone. Kind of looks coppery tone. I'll start out with just this on there. I could also do it out of acrylics, but this was inconvenient. I knew right where it was. My cord's getting all wrapped up. Where are we at for time? Okay, we're still good. What glue was I using? This? Where's my camera? On camera. This? Or this is just matte medium. Oh, God, that was gesso. No wonder it wasn't gluing down. I thought I had matte medium out. Okay, it was supposed to be matte medium. I ended up doing it with gesso. How did that get out? It's supposed to be a matte medium. Well, that's just bizarre. You know, it's supposed to be this. That's what I was supposed to be using, not gesso. Oh, I gotta put that. I'll put that in the tub. I don't quite know how those got mixed up, but they did. Let's go with a different shade of gold. Let's go with the next goldeny color. I'm really anal about my watercolors. I'm not one that gets my watercolors all messed up and mixed up. I always wash my brush out and stuff. I'm into watercolors. Is one of the things I'm doing. I'm not showing much of yet, but it's one of the things I'm playing with. Filling in some of those spots that didn't take the paint before. Okay. I know there's a paper towel here or something, so we can set these guys aside. Dry this. Yeah, no, it was supposed to be matte medium. Now I got matte medium out, and that's what I'll attach the rest of the stuff down with. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't gluing down quite the way I wanted it to, and now it makes sense because I was using gesso and not matte medium. It's like whatever works. And again, this little watch face thingy is an old Seven Gypsies thing from a squillion years ago. Okay, so now it's warped a little, so let's flatten it out a bit. I'm going to do some of this on it just to fill in some of the other areas. Okay, so it looks a lot shinier in person than because it looks all blotchety, but it's a lot shinier in person. And so let me grab. And this is Paper Artsy. I love their stuff because it's matte finish. So I'm just giving it some kind of look like it's a little more corroded. Probably a little excessive. Okay, take her off of that. I usually do a blue and then this key lime is the other color that gives that kind of corroded look. That was way too much. Cool. All right, let's see. Let's see. Where's some ink? Gather twigs will work. I want to get that the latest, which was supposedly going to be one of the last. It's supposed to be the last new distress color. Something soot. No, it's not soot. It's singed or something like that. So I'm going to get some of it. This is a darker color to give it a little. Yeah, that looks cool. That'll work. So kind of made it so it looks a little like a little corroded thing. All right, so let's now I'll get the matte medium. I thought it opened up way too easily. All right, hang on to your ears for a second. Pen back out. Paper pen. Oh my goodness. There are times where, your brain just doesn't always. All right. Now this is matte medium. And it doesn't matter whether what brand you're using. Any brand will work. Matte medium will pretty much glue almost anything down. So I want the little girl's face, but I also wanted that writing in there, and I want that writing up there. So I'm going to tip that this way. Now this stuff has adhesive back on it. So I'm just going to peel this paper thing off, which is causing a lot of the issues why it was bending, but I'm going to put some of this on it. You can use regular glue too, but this is out. But I'm definitely not, since these things are like 12 years old, I'm not relying on that adhesive that's on there. All right, what did you get? I missed the first part. He's talking about what they got. These now also, the other thing that's really cool right now nowadays is it records the chat. I mean, it used to be all those years you could just hear me reacting to stuff in the chat, but you had no idea what the chat was about. Oh, scorched timber. That's what it is. Scorched timber, yeah. We only have one kind of paper crafting store in this area, and it's about, as long as I hit it the right time of day, it's about an hour drive when there's no traffic. If I hit the rush hour, it could be a 2-hour drive to get over there and back, or plus, each way. So, and I like to support her, so I might go up there tomorrow and get some because I know she has it. So support your local stores and all that. So we've added that little doodad on there. And then I'll have something to put on. I'll figure out something to put on here. But I kind of like that. That looks cute in there. A little glue underneath. It keeps lifting up. And I'll make a tag to go in there. I still got 20 minutes, so we can make a tag to go in there. See? So. Because this is like a 6x6 piece, so that could go, something like that could go in there. That's kind of cute. I can just double side it. I mean, I don't want it hanging out too far. I'm thinking if I chop it off here, I can leave this little guy on here around the corners. Pop it in there. And I could foof something up on here. What about one of those butterflies? Butterflies. I know some butterflies around here somewhere. Oh, I know what I could use. I could also use. I got some of my digital stuff too. Oh, see, those look cute in there. Doing these little tags in here. That one guy is too wide. It's too long. Ooh, those are fun. I like having that color in there. That looks good. That works. Oh, I'll save these for another. And these are this is available on my website. These are part of, and I'll do something on the back to them. But these are part of, it's a set of tags and stuff. And there's also there's all these guys in here. And then it's got these half sheets. These are 5.5 by, or 5 by 8 type things. I can see those could go in there. You can also chop it off slightly and put these over there. That way, when the little bugs are hanging out. There's several of them. These guys. Then, see, I've got, I thought that had a bug on it. Birds. I can find a bug somewhere. There's got to be a bug around here. I've got some bugs, but find a little bug to go in here. I like the purple. The bug was purple. These are over on my website, and for the life of me, I'll put it in the notes for this video as to where this is. I'll have a link. I'll put the link in the notes for this page or for this video. I kind of like that one. Let's do that one. I like that stuff too. So how tall can we make this? About right there. Let's cut it. Make it about 6 inches tall ish. And I could save this and use it for something else. See, it fits in there just perfectly. It's perfect. So then I can on this back side. It's not quite big enough. Let's grab a different one. Yeah, so that'll work on the back. Okay, so I could either glue it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of sort of glue it together, and then I'm going to stitch it, but my sewing machine's in the other room, so I'm not going to do that right now, but I'll show it to you on the 9th, what it looks like when you do that. So then that gives us, and I like how it's got that little edge at the top. So that gives us something else on the back, gives a little bit more body. So I'm just going to zoom a bead of glue around it. If my glue says, yeah, my glue's like going, yeah, you just think you're going to do that. So fine. I'll foil you. Ha, 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 ha. And glue stick it. See, glue, you're going to mess with me. I'll fix you. Ha, ha. There. Where is my... You should see this little mess I have literally right outside the edge of the camera. It's rather humorous. It's a hot little mess, a pile of stuff, and that's why I can't find things. But I'm just going to do a quick little stitch around the edge on the sewing machine. Like I said, I'll show you that next week. And again, this is just one of my digitals. And they're still on sale, 20% off, because they've been on sale for months because I keep forgetting to turn that off. But I'm like, nah, I'm okay with that. So, I wish I could remember what the name of the bugs thing is. So anyway, so this just is going to slip right, popping right down in there. So it just looks like there's, because of it, it looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff down in there. So let's just take a little piece. This is a National Geographic that you just use Citrusol on. And so you get some really cool papers. So I'm just going to make a little tab to go on this. And this is Oohoo glue stick. This stuff is pretty tough glue stick. So I don't always feel the need that, oh my gosh, it's not going to be a strong enough glue. It is. So it's just a little tissue on there. Give it a little bit more doodle. So then I can still stitch around all that. So I'll get that done. And she needs a little something something there. So there's a little button. There's a bowl of goodies. Let's see what we see. This cute little tag guy here. Let's look at that. So these are all a little bit large. Too large. It's a little too thick. It's got a big shank on the back, so that one's a little too thick. Let's put these little starry things on. Three of them. Come on, glue, cooperate. See? This is what it does. It is literally like my cats. It's like, nope, I'm only going to do what I'm only going to do it when I want to do it and not when you want me to do it. And then when I do it, I'm going to make a mess. I think it wants a few more. We'll do one up here. My absolute favorite. I'm going to cry when I use this stuff all up. This is my absolute favorite, just kind of foofy. I use some here. Here's some ends. That's a cute little tag. Oh, that would look cute there. I don't know. This just kind of jumped out of, I don't know where from. I think it was in that bowl. It said, I want to be on this one. And then I'll find some little cut out words to put on it. I'll use that to tie this stuff. Fray that up a bit. This is bugging me down here because it's an even number. And I really like them in odd numbers. So I had to add another one in there. Okay, so I'll glue this guy down and I'll find a little word to put on it. I didn't want to cover up that vintage writing there. Yep, I hear Trevor out there. Let's see if I can real quick find a word. And I always like to do this very serendipitously. I'll just grab a little scrap of paper and then I'll find something. This is weird. I don't know. There's talks about flowing lava and a fiery river, but I saw something just a second. Make her happy. There, it says, make her happy. So, like I said, just a tiny little scrap, and you can find a couple of words. They don't have to be beside each other. You know, you can take just any number of little words. So, but I think that just makes a cute little foofy foof. So I can do something along that lines here on this front side too. But see, I get so wrapped up in just doing the little details, it takes me forever to do a page, which is why having 40 pages in a regular journal is too many, whereas just having a few, I mean, there's quite a few in this one, but it looks like there's more than there is because things aren't glued down yet. But I like having these little bugs in here because I kind of wanted to keep this kind of more nature sort of ish inspired kind of thing. But so yeah, no, this is going to come along just fun. And so then I can make some tags to go inside of here and here. And then next time we'll work, or I'll try to get some of this done next time to where we can work on, maybe I'll have a few more things done by the 9th so that we can get a little bit further. Maybe I'll try to work on the cover and stuff as well. So awesome pages. It's more like kind of a page. Well, I guess it's a little bit more than just one page. I like how the little pocket, the little slit pocket, and it doesn't look like this is divided on this side, but it gave us a little extra pocket on that side. And so then by doing this, we got a little bit more pocket, and you know, it's a little bit different than what I did on the original. So it has, you know, it's kind of unique spice to it. So, but yeah, we'll just keep on keeping on. I'll stitch this guy I'll have to back these guys. And I'll put some holes in them and put some little ribbon or string in them. I will try to remember to put the link to the bugs paper and tags in the Fujijigga thingy. Oh, and real quick, because I promised I would do this, the one that is going to go up by next Wednesday, and I'm going to show you 2 ways of binding it. I showed this at the last class. This is the Three Sisters, and I'll show you how I did it, because this has been done kind of more journal-like. And I'll try to do a video showing with a walkthrough of this whole thing, as well as the original of this that had the zoo animals and it was probably from 2009. It's Zoo Animals and Fairy. There's 2 versions. But this one has these paper dolls in it instead of the zoo animals and the fairies. So I don't know if I'm going to do the artsy fartsy version of this. And this one, there will be videos of how to like make these paper dolls and that sort of thing. When you buy the tutorial for this, this will be a lot more extensive tutorial. Now I won't have probably all of that done before next Wednesday, but for making the base book, I'll have that. But if you purchase a tutorial, it will have the videos for doing all of those parts. Because this one has a lot more of the artsy fartsy type stuff in it. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I do it a little bit more traditional for the version we do streamed in March. But oh, I hate putting this up without all of the videos going to be completely done for it. Well, we'll see how far I can get this weekend on it, because then I can go more in depth and talk about the different pieces and parts. Yep, see, we had a sighting. Say hi.
Hi.
See, we didn't make it through. We didn't make it through. But I'm gonna do it where, see, these are removable type of pages for using my journal binding type method. And I'm going to work out a way that it can be attached to Stack the Deck. So I'm going to look at this a little more carefully as to what I have done for it, because this was a 1.5 day class. And so I demoed much of it and didn't have the videos when I taught this as a class. And I'm like going, I'm wondering, so it'll maybe this one for March. It may be a different one that's a little less complicated tutorial. We'll see what I can get done this weekend. But I'm shooting for the end of the month. So we'll see. But this is what my plan is. If this is not done this month, it'll be done next month. But I'll look into it. I forgot how detailed this is, but I could probably, the videos for doing the paper dolls is really pretty easy, and assembling the pages is, again, just like this one, the one we're working on now, it looks more complicated than it really is. And so it also, and I may eliminate these little guys out of there just because, or these might be optional. These are little tiny journal books to write in. So these could be, actually, you can make these completely optional, but this is all stitched, and I want to do it to where it's not stitched. And these are the only challenge on the stitch. So these will be on the stitched version, and the unstitched version, these guys will be eliminated, because the rest of it, it's all attached all together, and that's easy peasy. So anyway, let me look at it more closely tomorrow and decide. So if this, and I'll let you know if it's going to be this one that's coming up, the tutorial for, and I may put the tutorial up, and as I'm doing these pages, some of these pages for the other sample, I will do a video for how to make the paper dolls, but we'll see on the rest of it. I had that idea about a week ago to do that one, and it's kind of gotten away from me, and I haven't done anything else. So anyway, no promises, I know. Yeah, we almost made it without a turbo sighting. It was close. It was close. But he had to pop in and grab something. That's why he popped in. And he had this smirk on his face. It's like, oh, frick. Well, he's probably saying a different word. But anyway. Alrighty, guys. So my nice little clean area. So hopefully by the next class on the 9th, I'll have it set up to where I can switch cameras. It looked like it was going to work until I went to go live. And then it's like, no, this browser does not. So then I had to put in Chrome. Well, I put in Chrome. This is on my Mac, and then I couldn't get the phone to hook up. So I'll have to fiddle around with that, figure out how I can make that all work. So anyway, and then I didn't have the right cord to hook it up to my iPad, so I'll figure it out. So hopefully by next time you can actually see my smiling face. So, alrighty, guys. I totally appreciate both Christine and Pam helping me out by being my top commenters, but also for, being ready to boot somebody if they need to. But I don't know if either of them know how to boot people. But anyway, just for being the mods for me, I appreciate it greatly. So we'll be back on the 9th of February, and I will see you then. Thank you all so much for popping in. For those of you who were here with us live, and for those of you watching it on video, hi. So we will see you on the 9th. Thanks a bunch.